Tiffany Gaines, host of the Seekers podcast. I've been waiting a minute to give my um, assessment and opinion on the LeBron James hot gossip. You know what his comment was after asked, what would his career be without his time and experience in Miami? And I don't even care that my hair ain't even right before I got on this thing. I'm going through a hair transition, so I figured that my few subscribers, we could go through this journey together, and I could just kind of walk and be bold and be authoritative in this mess up here. So people are outraged, and I can't figure out why. And the other reason I've waited is because I wanted to think about the question: would his career be what it would be without his time in Miami? Will LeBron James still be considered, and I'm in this part, I'm rephrasing and taking away from the actual question. Question is, would his career be what it would be without his time in Miami? And I think the simple answer, let me start that. The simple answer is who knows? Because if you're gonna ask a question, would it be what it would be? Would his career be? Would he be who he is without his time in Miami? Who the hell knows? Because there's no opposing factual context to compare it to. And I think that's a simple answer. And so, since there's no opposition, no fact formulated opposition, his answer is what his answer is. It's what he believes it to be. And I think people are basing his comment on only what actually happened, only. And when you think about the question, how would anybody know? Everybody says, well, without his time in Miami, he wouldn't have had these two additional championships. How the hell do you know that? How the hell do you know that? It's not like LeBron um, had not won um, anything or wasn't worth shit, right? Before he got to Miami. Who knows what it would have been? Those were just his first and second titles. And I'm not knocking how difficult it is to get your first and second title. I'm not knocking the mental psyche that you have to build to get there. But how the hell do we know without any factual offering that LeBron James is wrong? Who knows? And so people, acting as though he has shit on Miami for what he said based on his contentious or whatever, fallout he had with Pat Riley. Hell, Dwayne Wade fell out with Pat Riley and the Heat organization at the end of his career. That's why he left and went to Chicago. His feelings were bruised. So, I don't know that LeBron James's answer was a diss at Miami. I just think LeBron James is entitled to believe in whatever the hell he wants to believe about himself. And people acting as though he threw the middle finger, right? I think the man's entitled to believe that he would be who he is without his time in Miami. He doesn't have any factual proof to refute it either. He doesn't know for sure that it would or wouldn't be because it was Miami. This is a hypothetical question that I think everybody's getting bent out of shape about. How can anyone say with any 100% conviction other than LeBron, because he's him and he knows who he is, he knows the time and effort that he puts into his craft. Other than LeBron, nobody else is qualified to say any other thing about it. And so he gets to have his opinion about who he would think he would be, because you don't have a Knicks career to compare it to. You don't have his time and tenure with another team to compare it to. How do you know that he wouldn't be as great or greater? He may have been definitively the GOAT if he never went to Miami. What if he went to the Knicks? What if he went somewhere else and won 3 championships? Who knows? And so people getting their panties all in a bunch over what the man said has nothing to do with what the man said. People getting their panties in a bunch is because they are annoyed. I think there are a group of people who love Jordan, who just can't handle the possibility of somebody like LeBron. and I say somebody like LeBron taking over the conversation as it goes, people love Jordan and Kobe for their personality, their sniper like personality, their I don't give a damn personality, their willingness to call out a teammate, be assertive, be tough, to not give a damn about a man bleeding on the court. That is what people love so much and respect so much about Jordan and Kobe. It is the reason you don't, outside of a few people, really hear anybody talk about those personality qualities, those traits about Jordan and Kobe. You don't really hear many people talking negatively about their sort of sniper killer instincts. That's always, the Mamba mentality, right? It's a compliment to Kobe. It's a compliment to Jordan. It is the one thing that people don't attribute to LeBron, and it is the personality X that people have a problem with. For people to act like there was no other team that was formidable enough for him to have gone to and won. This is LeBron James, right? This is this is plug and play. This is plug and play, and you're in the finals, or at the bare minimum, you're in the playoffs. But this is 9-time, 10-time final appearance, LeBron James. Who says that if he had not gone to another team, that they would not have been in the finals competing for a championship? I think during that time, I think it's just kind of asinine not to think that he would have had an opportunity. But what we're looking at is the fact that he won 2 championships. People are looking at the actual fact that he won 2 championships. And yes, that's true. But at minimum, the man's allowed to say, sure. No, at minimum, we can say we don't know. And at the most, he's allowed to say, yeah, I believe that. And what's wrong with him believing that? I just don't get the outrage. But if Kobe had said what LeBron said, would anybody be batting an eyelash? No. Because why? Because there's a certain degree of respect with Kobe's voice, with Kobe's assertions, with Kobe's tone, his personality. There's a different level of respect for Kobe's persona, for Jordan's persona. If Jordan had said what LeBron James said, would your career have been what it have been without your time in Chicago? And if Jordan said yes, people would say, well, of course it would have been. He's Michael Jordan. He could have gone anywhere with his, ferocious attitude and his killer instinct and his skill set. He could have gone anywhere. That's what people would say. People, even if people didn't necessarily believe that, they wouldn't be killing the comment. It is the fact that LeBron James said this. And so you have to ask yourself, what's the issue with LeBron James saying something? People have an issue with some part of LeBron James's essence, his personality. There's some inkling of who he is that allows people to kind of push him aside, dismiss him, so to speak. And I kind of get that. I was just talking to some friends the other day because that happens to me sometimes. It's just something about a person's personality, people's personality, where you see what they do, but you don't necessarily understand or give credence to how they're getting it done. You don't want to give them 100% credit for how they're getting it done. It's because LeBron James is the person who said it. And so you have to ask yourself, why do I have a problem if LeBron James says something? Or what is it about LeBron James that is so dismissive? And I think that's the question that people should spend some time exploring instead of what he said. Nobody would give two hoo-hoos if Kobe said that. Don't believe it? And Kobe would pretty much tell you so. That's the other thing. Kobe would be like, so what? So what, you think that? And people getting on podcasts, with this sort of outraged attitude, calling LeBron insecure. I, you know, I don't get what's wrong with LeBron. Instead of calling LeBron insecure, nobody wants to give any credence to the fact that LeBron has an ego. He does have an ego. We all have egos. And the greatest scorer of all time, right? The greatest scorer of all time took exception to somebody saying that he would not be who he is without his time in Miami. The nerve of the greatest scorer of all time having a problem with somebody thinking that, having a problem with somebody asking him that. The only reason the question even came up is because there's a narrative that LeBron could be the GOAT over the best shoe game in the business, Michael Jordan. It's this 1-2 narrative that has LeBron constantly in the hairs of other people who think Jordan is the best. And it is LeBron James's personality, the fact that he is not a laser assassin in his commentary, in things that he says and things that he does. He's not acting like he doesn't want to be a friend to his teammate brethren. He doesn't act like he doesn't give a damn about people. He just doesn't. Kobe was a different cat. Kobe modeled himself after Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan just who he was. But I guarantee if that question was asked of Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, none of you people out here giving LeBron James hell would say anything. The only person who would challenge it would be Shannon Sharp. Now let me get to what I have to say about Shannon. Shannon, you were doing too much with how you responded. There was no reason for you to jump on the table with heat on in with what you said. I think you're still wrong in answering a question that nobody really knows the answer to, including LeBron James. LeBron James wasn't saying that his time in Miami was fruitless. He said he gave credit to the Miami Heat organization. He's not taking away his time entitled and learning from that experience. But the antics that Shannon answered the question is what sort of stirred this whole thing. I mean, yeah, they had already asked the question. The question was going to be posed on the show. But I just don't get the antics behind the narrative behind anything that LeBron James does. And let me give credit to Gilbert Arenas for always, not just on this topic, for always having the courage to just kind of be singular on his thought, even if, and sometimes Gilbert Arenas, and I'll say this, I lived in Houston during Gilbert Arenas' career, and so the Rockets are a Western Conference team. I didn't see a lot of Eastern Conference games, and just the narrative that I saw in Gilbert Arenas, I honestly thought he was a silly ball player, and I knew he was a great scorer. I didn't understand the guns in the locker room thing, and so I judged him based on some things that he did away from the basketball court. But since Gilbert Arenas has been behind a microphone for some years now, I have changed my entire narrative, my entire thinking on Gilbert Arenas. I think he is one of the brightest minds talking about basketball. I think a lot of commentators, a lot of podcasters, a lot of guys who even play, they have a sort of a lockstep narrative on things. I think Gilbert thinks outside of the box. I think he's not afraid to be singular and alone in his thinking. And he never says anything without any sort of context. He brings factual context and analysis to everything that he says, even if it's off the beating path. His commentary about LeBron James and the Heat culture, 100% right. I've not heard anybody say, what is Heat culture? Is there a such thing as Heat culture? He said Heat culture is essentially discipline. And he said something else I don't remember, but it had nothing to do with sort of basketball skill set. Eric Spoelstra is an outstanding coach. And I think that Eric Spoelstra's time away from LeBron James is why we can say that he's an outstanding coach, because they've not fallen to the land of abyss, in the land of irrelevancy, in that organization. They're always a tough out. They're not an easy win. And the fact that they took that team last year to the NBA Finals, if you want to call culture, it's Eric Spoelstra. But if you want to give Heat culture some credit, let's give it to Eric. But outside of some discipline and you can't do anything you want to do in our building because Pat Riley said so, hey, Pat Riley, kudos to you. I salute you, sir. Just because these are millionaire athletes doesn't mean that they get to do any and everything. Just because you're the superstar, we're part of an organization and you're joining our organization. And I salute Pat Riley for standing on that. You're joining our organization. You are not the organization. So he has rules, and some players don't like him, or superstar players don't like him. LeBron didn't like him. I ain't got no problem with Pat Riley. I do have a problem with how you handled Dwayne Wade at the end of his career. I think Dwayne Wade should have been celebrated and not treated or felt like he should have gone to the Chicago Bulls. That was just, you've not had a player in your career since you've been at Miami, Pat Riley. There's not a player that I can think of that's been in that organization like Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was the face of the Miami Heat, and he should have never felt like he had to go to Chicago to get some respect. That was a fart. And Dwayne Wade, still to this day, at least one of his more recent podcasts that I listened to, I think when he was on Club Shay Shay, there's still some sore feelings there. So if you mishandled Dwayne Wade, then I would say your Heat culture needs some revision. But that's an off topic digress. But Gilbert Arenas standing on and pointing out the fact that what is Heat culture without LeBron James? What is Heat culture before LeBron James? Heat culture was Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade began a Heat culture, right, with the winning of a championship with Shaquille O'Neal and some other players who were at the tail end of their career. If we want to talk about Heat culture, is it Dwayne Wade? Is it? But I mean, what did they win a lot of outside of the one championship at the beginning of Dwayne Wade's career when he was young, youthful, and was still able to run and jump and fall over the ground and injuries not take a hold, right? So I don't think there's anything wrong with Gilbert Arenas' analysis saying, well, what the hell is he culture? Let's go through the playoff runs and let's see. I think Gilbert Arenas' point is why not? Why shouldn't LeBron be able to say what he is, what his career would be? Maybe the Heat wouldn't have two championships if LeBron didn't go. Instead of saying LeBron wouldn't have two championships if he didn't go to Miami, would the Heat have those two championships if LeBron didn't go? I doubt it. Now I can say that. That's my opinion. But would if Chris Bosh was there with Dwayne Wade, if it was just Chris, could we say that the Miami Heat are gonna have two championships? People would say, well, you don't know. Or people could guesstimate and say yes. The point is, it's just opinion, right? It's just an opinion. You can't prove factually anything about this. I just think it's silly. And I think it is people's perception of LeBron James, the person, that has folks outraged. Outraged. Nobody would be tripping like this if this was Kobe. Nobody would be tripping if this was Jordan. It is the perception that people have of LeBron James. Some people don't like his antics. Some people don't like his personality. Whatever. I don't know why. The host of the Dreamers Pro Show called him insecure. He has an ego. Insecure? The outrage on his face saying, are you that insecure? You're a billionaire. The man has an ego. It's LeBron James that people have a problem with saying this. You ask this question of any other billionaire, business person, they're not going to let you say or ask the question. It's like, why is LeBron James so disrespected that you have to even ask him that question? Why do people get to poke at LeBron? It's a personality thing. It's a perception about LeBron. That's the problem. The LeBron James perception is the issue. Nobody, I mean, it's just impossible. The only person who does it with great skill, diminishes every accolade in his career, calls him a quitter, and not a quitter, calls him a choker. Skip Bayless is probably the best in the business at tearing down LeBron James. But most people look at him sideways, but they still have to give him pats on the back. Paul Pierce. They look at him sideways and still have to give him pats on the back. Right? I think most people do. Most people do give LeBron James his proper due. proper respect, because it's just hard not to. Stephen A has LeBron James number 2, and he doesn't diminish anything about LeBron. And it's okay to have LeBron James as number 2. Nobody has to have him as a GOAT, but I think that they are just narratives. They're sour narratives about the man LeBron. And if you don't like his personality, so what? But why do you have to come at him with that personal energy? It's personalized energy. That is the reason and cause that people go at LeBron the way that they do. Jordan had an energy, but people were, I guess, I guess what it is it's okay if you instill fear in people, and we respect that. If you instill personality fear, I'll punch you in the face fear, I'll throw you under the bus fear. So that's respected, and people just don't say shit about it. And the host of the Dreamers Pro show, I was listening to him yesterday, and I typically like this guy because I think he's fair in his commentary, but he does get up in arms about LeBron, which is why, one of the reasons he's just kind of proof in the pudding that it is just kind of a personality thing with LeBron. He said, one of the things he said two things. He said that he had a problem as a Christian, that LeBron said, "I'm the chosen one." Sir, Christianity don't need you to defend it like that, because you, sir, were chosen to be who you are. You, sir, were chosen to do what you're doing. Everybody's chosen. We all have individual gifts and abilities and talents that we were specifically chosen to do. And you, sir, should feel the same way. You were chosen. You were chosen to be where you are. Believe that, because that is the only reason your show is what it is, because you are walking in your chosen ability to do so. He's not taking any credit from the creator by saying that I'm chosen. I'm the chosen one. He is the chosen one. You are the chosen one. Believe that. Walk in that. That is why your show is what it is, because you're chosen. You're just afraid to say so because some man in the church told you, or instilled some fear, some God complex fear. I'm not going to get on Christianity, but fear ain't your friend. And being afraid to announce what the creator has ordained you to be is just silly. You're supposed to walk around in the anointing of your power. Walk around knowing you were chosen, and don't be afraid to say so. That is why your show is what it is. It's an awesome show. Don't be afraid to say that you were chosen. The other thing he said, he said something else. I got on that Christianity thing. It's just ridiculous. The fact that he said he was chosen, we're bothered by that. We're all chosen to be individuals and to be great at what we're great at. We're all chosen. The problem is that we don't all walk in our chosen ability. We don't all walk in our chosen authority. LeBron James is just not afraid to do so. And he probably knows it too. The other thing that he said was that, are we not allowed, if you are part of LeBron James's crew, or if you're a LeBron James supporter, you're not allowed to disagree with him. I don't think that Shannon Sharpe and LeBron James's relationship comes with the contractual stipulation that you are not to say anything bad about me, that you are not supposed to disagree with anything that I say. I think LeBron James knows that Shannon Sharpe, being a number one supporter, I think that I'm going to believe that their relationship is a little deeper than that. I don't think LeBron James is that shallow to where he walks around. I don't think LeBron James is that shallow to where everybody around him agrees with everything he says or does. I just don't believe that. I think that's a made up narrative, sir, that came from your place of emotion and narrative on how you personally see LeBron. You see LeBron to be that petty. You see LeBron to be that egotistical. That's how you see him. But it is not who you know him to be. I mean, you can't say with any knowing, because you personally announced, well, I'm sure LeBron James would never see this. So how do you have any sort of factual analysis that LeBron James would have a problem with what Shannon Sharpe said? if you have a genuine relationship with somebody, you're allowed to disagree with them, and you're allowed to disagree with them with some heat. Now, I don't personally agree with how Shannon Sharp did it. I do believe what Gilbert Arenas said. I think Shannon Sharp was a little bit in the moment. I can't figure out why he came at it with that heat, because he's disagreed with LeBron before. He's criticized LeBron before. That's not the first time Shannon's done it. Maybe the animation, maybe that was his first time doing it, because I was a little taken back by how he said what he said, not what Shannon said, but how Shannon said what he said. So I don't think LeBron James is shallow enough, or is that shallow at all, to have a problem with what Shannon said. He might have a problem with how Shannon said it. And I think he would be within his right to do that. But trouble in paradise, that their relationship is going to be on the brinks. And this is what I was thinking too when I was watching the. I wish I knew the man's name, because I don't want to discredit him. By the other thing he said is that, if you're are you not allowed to say anything against LeBron James? Ask yourself this, sir. What happened to Charles Barkley in his relationship with Michael Jordan? What happened to that relationship? The way you were cynically pointing out that because Shannon Sharp said something, that their relationship would now be on the brinks, fragile, probably broken. What the hell happened to Charles Barkley's relationship after he said something about Michael Jordan coaching or GMing with the Washington Wizards? Broken, fragile. So can we talk about LeBron James's sensitivity? Michael Jordan has got to be the most sensitive athlete out there, right? Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, petty, right? You see what I'm saying? It's how people see LeBron. Michael Jordan, his petty ass Hall of Fame speech, when you said, LeBron, when you put your hand on your desk, are you that sensitive? Are you that insecure? That's what he said. Are you that insecure? Is Michael Jordan that insecure? Nobody's asking that. The Last Dance. Is Michael Jordan that insecure? No. Michael Jordan has a ginormous ego. Sometimes ego can mask itself over some insecurities, for sure. But my point is nobody's asking that about Michael Jordan. Nobody's asking that. Now, if I was going to point out an athlete who probably was not insecure and had an ego, I would say Kobe was probably the one dude that truly did not care. Michael Jordan cares, bruh. Michael Jordan cares about what people say about him. Michael Jordan cares about his reputation. Michael Jordan's silence about LeBron not being able to confidently walk around and give him his true praise. Michael Jordan. Nobody talks about that joker's insecurity, that joker's pettiness. I think Kobe was probably the only one who walked with a chip and was secure enough to give praise and accolades to someone else. Kobe didn't care about you on the court, but he was secure enough in who he was to still give praise and tribute to other players. So people talking about LeBron, are you that sensitive, LeBron? Is Michael Jordan that sensitive? You see, nobody thinks about that stuff when it comes to Jordan. That's why I say this is just a personal attack on LeBron James. Because if Michael Jordan had said this very same thing, nobody would be saying who, do, nothing. It would be just, well, that's Jordan. That's what Jordan thinks. I mean, Jordan's the GOAT. Jordan, the GOAT. It is just Michael Jordan's persona and personality. But we can't call LeBron James sensitive and petty and his antics without looking at Michael Jordan. Charles Barkley, that was his dog. Career, they were friends. Now, and Charles Barkley has as much said that he was hurt about the relationship. They did eventually get to some speaking, but the relationship isn't the same. So if Charles Barkley could say what he said without the heat that Shannon Sharp delivered, Charles Barkley, from an analyst perspective, gave an opinion about the Washington Wizards. He wasn't even jumping down in his personality and tone when he said it. And Michael Jordan essentially stopped speaking to the man. Now you tell me who's the sensitive one. But it's a perspective about LeBron. And I think, if that's the truth, then can we just kind of give our LeBron analysis on that, Skip? People just don't like the fact that he's in the GOAT conversation. They don't like that. And I think that question, had it been asked of someone else, had it been asked of another great of all time, another greatest of all time consideration, if it was asked of Larry Bird, if it was asked of Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas would be somebody who would answer that question the same way LeBron did. Somebody else I respect. Isaiah Thomas would have said the same thing LeBron said. It's me. So I love what Gilbert Arenas did. I love the fact that he challenged what he culture was. Maybe LeBron James was the culture. Maybe LeBron James is the culture. I mean, he's a diminishing old culture now because he can't even keep these Lakers above water. But at that time, during the prime of his career, at the beginning of his prime, yeah, you could have put LeBron James anywhere, and I 100% believe they too would have been contending for a championship. I just believe that. And if I believe it, Lord, why can't he? The nerve of anybody else to say that he's wrong for believing in who he is. The nerve of anybody else to believe that he is not the chosen one. We're all chosen in our own individual ways. We're all chosen to do what we're all chosen to be great human beings. A lot of us are not living in our chosen talents and abilities. But LeBron James is walking around with his. And crown ourselves, we all should crown ourselves. Because we are kings and queens. We are. We are descendants from the creator, the ultimate creator. We're descendants. Created from the consciousness of God. Why shouldn't a man be able to say, I'm chosen? Bruh, get in touch with your religion, your spirituality, your Christianity. Really get in it or get beyond it and see who you really are. Get beyond the title of Christianity and really begin to identify with who you are spiritually. Because you're cheating yourself. I think your show was great. You should be saying that you're the chosen one as well. Get beyond Christianity. Don't say that anymore. You're limiting yourself. That's a different show. I could go on about that. But maybe it's the narrative about how we see LeBron James that has us feeling a certain type of way about the things that he does. Maybe it's the narrative that he could change your perspective about one man. We probably thought we would never see anything like Jordan. And I don't think there'll ever be anything else like Jordan because LeBron James isn't like Jordan. I see Jordan in a completely different light. And it has a lot to do with his personality. His personality contributed to who he was on the basketball court. LeBron James's personality contributes to who he is on the basketball court. Kobe Bryant's personality contributed to who he is on the basketball court. And it is LeBron James's personality that has people looking sideways, has people outraged that he would dare say such a thing. The fact is, you don't know what LeBron James's career would have been without the Miami Heat. You don't know. But LeBron James is entitled to say what he thinks it would be. Until you until you have some facts to support it, what's wrong with the opinion that he gave? And Shannon Sharp, you read the question wrong. And I was just kind of disappointed at how you jumped on the table about it because it just wasn't necessary. Maybe you were just kind of hype in the moment because y'all were doing your HBCU tour. And if LeBron James wants to be petty and pissed off at the Miami Heat, he's entitled to do so. Look how they did this boy Dwayne Wade. So look at how Fox did you, sir. Aren't you a little pissed off? You're probably grateful. But you have every right to have some negative things. You did have some negative things to say about Fox, about Skip. Kind of. You didn't flatly come out and say when you did your interview with Stephen A. Smith, but you felt some kind of way about how they handled you over there at Fox. Why can't LeBron James feel some kind of way about his time in Miami? We all feel some kind of way about some shit that's happened, right? Doesn't it make us feel and answer questions a little differently? I gotta wrap it up at some point, but I am just, I don't know. I don't get it. But what do we think? What do we think? Right? What do we think? Let me know. Please like, please subscribe, right? Tiffany Gaines, host of the Seekers Podcast. I appreciate your time.